You know that simple piece of chocolate? The one you can finish in just a few seconds? Well, it holds this incredible story. A 3,000-year journey that winds through ancient rituals, powerful empires, and some seriously game-changing inventions. Okay, let's dive into the fascinating, and trust me, often surprising, history of chocolate.
So to start, I want you to forget everything you think you know about chocolate. Seriously. Forget the creamy texture, the sweet taste, that foil wrapper. Because for almost its entire history, chocolate was none of those things.
Yeah, the chocolate bar, that's a super recent invention. Its original form was something else entirely, something way darker, a lot more bitter, and honestly, far more sacred.
So our story begins not in some candy factory, but deep in the tropical rainforests of ancient Mesoamerica. This is where chocolate was born, not as a food, but as a ceremonial drink.
It all starts with this tree, Theobroma cacao. And that name is perfect, because it literally means food of the gods. The first people we know of who cultivated it, way back around 1500 BC, were the Olmecs. They were the ones who first figured out how to turn the beans from this divine tree into a chocolatey drink.
But it was really the Mayans who perfected the process. And what's wild is how familiar these ancient steps are. They would ferment the beans, dry them, roast them, and then grind them into a paste. These are the same fundamental techniques that are still used in making chocolate today. And from that paste, they made this drink they called chocolat. Imagine this. It was bitter, it was foamy, and they mixed it with water, chili peppers, and vanilla. But here's the kicker. Absolutely no sugar. This was not your cozy cup of hot cocoa. It was a powerful, sacred drink used in their most important religious ceremonies.
Okay, fast forward a bit. When the Aztecs rose to power, cacao's value started to shift. It went from being something purely spiritual to a symbol of real economic and political might.
Get this, the Aztecs valued cacao beans so much that they literally used them as money. People paid their taxes in cacao beans. To give you an idea, a single turkey could set you back around 100 cacao beans. This wasn't just a food, it was cold, hard currency.
So yeah, cacao became the ultimate status symbol. The Aztec emperor, Moctezuma II, was said to drink dozens of cups of this bitter stuff every single day. He believed it gave him energy, vitality. It was the original power drink.
But then, the 16th century rolls around, and everything is about to change. When Spanish explorers showed up in the Americas, chocolate began a journey across the ocean, a journey that would lead to its biggest transformation ever.
So, when the explorer Hernán Cortés brought cocoa back to Spain, the Europeans, well, they hated it. It was way too bitter for them. It was a total flop. Until someone had the simple but brilliant idea of adding sugar. And that one little addition changed the destiny of chocolate forever.
And boom, with sugar, chocolate became an absolute obsession among Europe's elite. It was this fashionable, exclusive, and super expensive drink that you'd only find in the hands of kings, queens, and aristocrats. They'd sip it in these new chocolate houses, which were basically the ancestors of our modern cafes.
Now, you gotta remember, for centuries, chocolate was still just a drink. But the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century was about to reinvent it all over again thanks to a few amazing technological breakthroughs.
It all started in 1828 with something called the cocoa press. This Dutch invention was an absolute game changer. It could separate the fatty cocoa butter from the bean itself, leaving this fine, smooth powder. That powder made chocolate so much easier to work with, and it basically laid the groundwork for everything that came next.
And that brings us to this huge moment in 1847. Using that new cocoa powder and cocoa butter, an English company, J.S. Fry and Sons, created the very first solid chocolate bar meant for eating. For the first time in thousands of years, chocolate was no longer just a drink, it was a food.
All right, but there's one last crucial piece of the puzzle, and it clicks into place in 1875. A Swiss chocolatier named Daniel Peter had the idea to add powdered milk, which was a brand new invention by his neighbor, a guy named Henri Nestlé, to the mix. And the result? The smooth, creamy, sweet milk chocolate that completely conquered the world.
Wow. So, from the ancient rainforests of Mesoamerica all the way to industrial Europe, let's just take a second to recap this absolutely wild 3,000-year story.
I mean, just look at this journey. It goes from a bitter drink for the Olmecs and Mayans to actual money for the Aztecs. Then it gets a total makeover with sugar in Spain before technology turns it into a solid bar and finally perfects it with milk. It's just a remarkable evolution, right?
And all of that history has led to what we have today, this massive, multi-billion-dollar global industry. And what's kind of wild is that even though its roots are deep in Mesoamerica, most of the world's cocoa is now grown thousands of miles away, mostly in West Africa. It connects entire continents in every single bite.
Which brings us right back to where we started. The next time you peel back that wrapper and you're holding that small square in your hand, what is it that you're truly holding?
Because you're holding so much more than just a treat. You're holding the food of the gods, once used in sacred rituals. You're holding the currency of empires, used to pay taxes. You're holding the luxury of kings, sipped in the fanciest courts in Europe. And you're holding a product of pure human invention, shaped by technology into the food we all know and love. All of that in one single piece of chocolate.